I didn't know what the water is. Hey, Miss Carla. Taking a selfie of me. Oh gosh. I'm sorry, guys. It wants a face picture of me. I'm trying to get it in here. This is on TikTok. I'm trying to get on. Your face in the frame. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't know I had to do all this. This is crazy. Y'all see me hunching down? It says, place your face in the frame. Come on, TikTok. Let's go back because I don't have time for that. Oh, I'm not doing that. Lord knows. I didn't prepare myself for this. I didn't know TikTok was that detail oriented. Hey, Miss Lopez. She says she's been sharing my posts. You are wonderful. You are wonderful. I'm trying to get on TikTok. I have a page on TikTok. I'm never on there. And I didn't know I had to go through all of this to. Yeah, TikTok, you might not see me tonight. You might have to see me next week. Yeah, you're gonna have to see me next week. I can't do all that. New tablet, all these restrictions. I can't. I didn't know it was oh, Mr. Miss Lopez, listen, I really appreciate that. Just come to an event when I have an event. This is my gift. This is what I do. I've been this way since I was a child. I'm still a child. If my daddy was here, he would say I'm not seasoned. I'm still marinating. And I'm about to be 50. So um, this is my pleasure. This is what I do. Um, because I had a mother that had mental health illness and I couldn't understand her. And that's what I went to school for, to understand my mom. And then I wanted to go deeper. So this is my new tablet. It will not be used until next week. I have to figure this thing out. I thought I had everything down packed today. It's not that way. It will be better next week. But I still have YouTube on here, Facebook. Good evening, everybody. Let me start the clock. I need to get a battery for this to remember. All right, let's get into our midweek check-in. Feeling a little good. Got some work done both times this week, but also having to put rules, or no, not rules, boundaries down for people has been kind of difficult for me. I don't like conflict. I don't like to argue. It gets me there. So I'm trying to stay in a good headspace. So my mood check was, I believe I was friendly and optimistic. No, I had harm. It was pink. It was pink. I thought it was friendly and optimistic. Miss Elida got orange up there. Orange, orange, orange. Great. Yes, God. So tonight, my mood check is I'm having some harmony and balance in my life. I got some projects that I am doing. They are moving. I have a project with my husband that's going to be moving along shortly. So when I'm busy, I feel like I'm doing something. And I'm not just talking about at work or when I'm doing something in my house, other things, other projects. This, I love to be busy with this. So harmony and balance in my life, I feel. Oh, listen, look at God. Look at God, Ms. Lopez. I'm giving that all to him. She said for the first time in 3 years, she's feeling optimistic and uplifting. Praise God. Praise God. Prayer works, honey. Prayer works. Prayer works. Being consistent, pushing forward. So let's do our midweek check-in. And Miss Carla had up a lot of broken hearts. Now, you know, Miss Carla, when I see those, you should have been on the phone calling me. Listen, I told y'all on Thursdays. Might as well kill me. Thursdays, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. You can call me. I'll talk to you. You can hear my voice, not to see my face. I'll talk to you. And a lot of people say, well, Kimble, I know you're busy. I am. But I make time for my loved ones. I make time for my people. So call me. If you're feeling great, if you're doing great, here is a red heart emoji heart. If you're doing great, put them red emoji hearts up there. If you're doing okay, this is not purple, it's blue. It shows purple on the screen. YouTube, it shows blue. This is blue. If you're doing okay, put a blue emoji heart up there. Yellow, nah. Yellow emoji heart is my. You're in between great and okay. It's all right. Put up a green emoji heart if things are tough and you are struggling. I think I need to make more of these. They're wiltering. Maybe I should get this iron them. If things are tough and you're struggling, this is a green emoji heart. If you feel comfortable DMing me, I look at my DMs. I'm going to even give out my email address to the Cottage House. I look at them every day. I look at my emails every day. Just check in with me. Purple, if you're having a hard time and you wouldn't mind if someone was to reach out to you, again, go to my DMs, either Kimble Evans on my personal Facebook page, the Cottage House. Hey, Burke, I'm trying to call you, but I'm gonna get you. It's over. All right. And I will listen. I will listen to you. Some people just like to be listened to and then reflect back what they're saying. Miss Carla put up the red heart with the crack down the middle, and she's in a really dark place right now. So we're going to send some prayers up to Miss Carla, my best friend. So Miss Carla, you want to be sending me some DMs. You're going to be calling my number. You have the personal number. Am I doing it right? Okay, it's this one. If you're having some harmony and balance in your life, put the pink emoji heart up there. Some harmony and balance, put the pink emoji heart up there. If you're feeling optimistic and uplifting, like Miss Lopez, you see the smile on my face? I love it. Like Miss Lopez, I love it. I love getting your energy of how you feeling. Sure. I'll give it to you. Feeling optimistic and uplifting, put those orange emoji hearts up there. Now, baby, if you're having a day like today, or if you had a day like today, because you could have been a little backed up, mean backed up from yesterday, having a little tube and mood coming to your from your Tuesday to your Wednesday. You're feeling like this at any time. Put the brown emoji heart up there. We are adults, and even our children sometimes have these kind of days. Trust me, I know. I had a good day yesterday, and at the end of the day, mhm, put the brown emoji heart up if you're feeling if you're having a day like this. If you're having mixed emotions, you barely did the minimum today, some blankness, white emoji heart, white emoji heart. The gray emoji heart stands for some being cool and self-restraint and a sprinkle of humbleness. You held it together today. You held it together. The light blue emoji heart is you're feeling relaxed and friendly. This is my favorite color, actually. The light blue emoji heart if you're feeling relaxed and friendly. The black emoji heart if you're angry or having some sadness. This is the one I deal with a lot because a lot of people, good evening, Brother Van, a lot of people don't like to deal with the anger and the sadness. But this is the one that, talk to me. Talk to me about it. That's the black emoji heart. And last but not least is our flaming hearts. The flaming heart if you're feeling frustrated. Now today I was feeling quite frustrated. Has anybody had any problems with the internet or their electronics, like moving really slow? Everything was moving really slow today, and I'm like, what is going on? The ice and all that stuff. I hope everybody's safe, and it doesn't matter if you down south or in Philly, Jersey. Everybody got hit with that snow. Every single person got hit with snow and ice. It looked on the nightly news, world nightly news. Texas had ice coming down. The highways was tore up. So we all got hit with some snow. This winter is, listen, old man Winter brought his friend and brother, Dr. Freeze, and Chili Willie with him. Tonight's topic is a topic that I did on 24/365 continuous live prayer. It's a private prayer group. Y'all didn't get no snowbird? You blessed, honey. That's why I'm coming that way. I'm coming that way. So I did a prayer point for Are You Stuck? On Monday. I do prayer on 24/365 at 6 p.m. every Monday and every Wednesday. It's a private prayer group. My big sister Roz had a vision from God, and to do a church without walls. Everybody, anybody in the city, all around the world. She have over, I think, maybe 50K followers. We just finished out our 40 days a night in prayer, starting from November 21st until January 1st. But I've been doing the prayers, the 6 p.m. prayers, Mondays and Fridays on it. So Monday, when I had the topic, Are You Stuck? I'm like, well, I didn't have a guest tonight because of the snow. I got to do things, because of the snow. And I didn't want to call them last minute and them not to be prepared. We think this thing with us being on live is easy. It takes some heart to get up here. You don't know who's watching from where or whatever like that. So I don't, if they had any anxiety and things like that, I wanted them to shake it off. So I was like, well, how does feeling stuck or being stuck impact your mental health? And so I just moved it over until tonight's topic. Now, again, as I said, if you want 24/365, and if you would like to become a member, just let me know and I'll send you an invite. It's a very, very, very good page. It's always continuous prayer up there. Again, different many churches in Philadelphia, all around the world, is on 24/365. It's very encouraging. It's the whole body of Christ that's on 24/365. So again, if you want to have an invitation, just let me know and I'll send you an invite. So there's a difference between being stuck and feeling stuck. Now, stay with me. I got a lot of notes here. I'm going to try to get through this tonight. But if it can't, We're going to finish the rest off next week. So, and then I said, how does that impact our mental health? Are you stuck? Do you feel stuck? And how this impacts our mental health? So, of course, I went to the dictionary, several of them. Can I give you information to my spiritual mom in Minnesota? Yes, you were supposed to send me the Shane's information. I was looking at my my DMs. Absolutely, absolutely, send it to me. More people with that's involved in this, it's the better. Again, just giving out mental health psychoeducation to make people feel comfortable, like you have diabetes, maybe high blood pressure, high cholesterol. You might have a heart, a heart murmur, something like that. All the physical ailments that we go through in our lives. It can be a bunion. They have different things and different treatments for, and people feel okay. Listen, I see some people with some beat up feet. Okay. But that's okay. But for mental health or mental illness, we shy away from it. And I really don't think we shy away from it because we're not educated in it. And what we see, what society has shown us, is anybody that has a mental health crisis, a mental health illness, mental health diagnosis, they are violent. They can't think for themselves. They can't. All these things that society has showed us about mental health. It is not absolutely that way. You can live with mental health. I want to do a segment one day to let you guys know how many celebrities have suffered with mental health, how many celebrities have took that negative label off their life and embraced it. So the more people that get educated on mental health and have, especially not just education, resources is what people need, how to manage the system, the healthcare system. So being stuck means feeling unable to move forward, change, or progress in a situation like your career or life, and you're often feeling trapped, stagnant, or lacking control. Like being in a traffic jam and unable to solve a difficult problem. This is being stuck. It's difficult to escape the situation or being baffled by a task, leading to frustration and then a feeling of hopelessness. I want to try to go to feeling stuck. Okay, here we go. Feeling stuck can happen for so many different reasons. Maybe you're living in a situation that isn't great. You're stressed about money, or you don't feel supported by the people that you're around. You may be feeling pressure to hide who you are, or perhaps you're dealing with grief or trauma, making your everyday life feel like a struggle. Feeling stuck is a psychological state of stagnation, characterized by a sense of being unable to move forward, change, or escape a current situation. It's an intense, subjective, remember that word subjective, experience of feeling trapped, paralyzed, or unmotivated in your career, in your relationships, in your personal growth, often accompanied by, again, frustration, and this is the feeling stuck part, anxiety, and a perceived lack of options. Ms. Carter, you said feeling alone. When you feel alone, you have to, oh no, you're not going to be scared to push forward. God didn't give us a spirit of fear. You have to get around people and say, I'll push. I will push, Miss Carla. So we got to talk. Because I was feeling stuck. I was just telling my therapist that I was feeling stuck. And I was stuck for 2 years. And this was just recently. Hey, Sister Aubrey, this was just recently me feeling stuck for 2 years. Like I had no control over anything that was happening. Everything was hitting me. My job was on my back. My daughter was on my back. My husband was on my back. I still really didn't get over losing my father and losing my mom and losing my grandmom and losing my uncle. Then, my house started falling apart. My AC broke down. That's $5,000. Then not this, my AC broke down. My water heater broke. It was so much stuff that every time I turned around, something was happening. And I was just like, I can't control none of this. And I wanted to give up, but I'm like, if I give up, it's going to be harder for me to come out in that's the Alice in Wonderland hole. We all heard the story of Alice in Wonderland. She didn't like her life on Earth. Her dad wanted her to be a type of a certain, back in those days, a woman had their life career was, being a mother, a housewife, marrying a man that was well off. But Alice wanted to explore. She wanted to do things that men do. And so when she fell down that rabbit hole, while she was falling, she was looking up, thinking to herself, should I go back up there? And then she was looking down, but what's down there? And if you read my book, I always say, for me, I would have just put my hands out and stop me from falling and would have thought about it. But Alice didn't want the life up there on Earth, where her family was. So she continued to fall until she got to Wonderland. So Alice decided not to feel stuck. Watch the movie. It's a great movie. Alice in the Looking Glass. What's the guy name that's in there? It's a great movie. Even the book, but I love the movie the best. That's my analogy on, trying to, when you can't cope with situations that feel so heavy, you have to make an important decision. Sometimes you go this way, or sometimes you go that way. You don't know, which decision will be best. But as I'm saying for 2016, make sure you put yourself first, no matter what decision you're making. Because you are no good to anybody if you can't focus, if you can't concentrate, if you don't feel safe. You can't help anybody else. You're going to deplete yourself. So she said, can I get a book from? I have to order some more. I gave you the journal, the healing book, but my other book is actually my story, my testimony. So I think I got one left. So yeah, I'm supposed to be sending you the print anyway. So I got you. So are you stuck and being stuck? The psychological and emotional definition is a paralysis or helplessness, where you can't find a way out of a mental or emotional state, even if you wanted to. When you feel stuck psychologically and emotionally, you're stuck with hopelessness, and you're feeling like you can't find a way out. And so I was like, wow, that's really deep. Now, I understand hopelessness coming from a therapeutic perspective, but I wanted to break that thing down for everybody to know. So hopelessness is a feeling or state of despair, lack of hope, desperation. Feeling hopelessness is a lack of hope that life can feel better than it does. So you're in a state that you're seeing it can't get no worse than this. These feelings may make you pull back from life and avoid doing things you usually enjoy or being with people you love, being by yourself. Ms. Carter said, absolutely. You know that I know just that when it hits me, and that's what it is, you become numb. You become numb. That's why I tell people when they're calling and they have all these thoughts, these negative feelings, they're so intense on a phone. The second or third question I ask people is, where are you at? And they're like, I'm home. Okay, where are you at in home? I'm in my room. I said, do it feel stuffy in there? Do you feel like the walls are closing in on you? We don't understand when we get those intense feelings, we're exuberating that stuff out into the atmosphere. We're manifesting how we feel. We have to understand it. When you feel down, when you feel low, when you feel unconfident, when you feel unworthy, when you don't feel loved, you are manifesting that how you feel, and it's going out in the atmosphere. And so sometimes I tell people, if you go and just raise your window just a little bit and let a cool breeze come in here, the first thing you're going to feel is the air on your skin. The first thing you're going to smell is some fresh air coming in your room. Then your body's going to say something has changed in the atmosphere. You know, when people say, I'm going to match your energy, I used to say that too. Go ahead with it. I'm going to match your energy. And now I'm like, I ain't matching the energy, because if you mad, I don't want you to make me mad. That's why I said 26 is not the year that we're going to be arguing with anybody. So don't match anybody's energy. Because if they're mad, if they're upset, if they're frustrated, if they're irritated, if they're irate, you're matching that same energy. No, manifest something good on them. Listen, and I always tell people, if you're having a bad moment, never say you're having a bad day. Just a bad moment. And again, it's going in and out over here on my iPad. You're having a bad moment, not a bad day. It's 24 hours in a day. Do not claim your whole day. If it's 6:30 in the morning, something happened. You stubbed your toe. You couldn't find your car keys. You were late to an appointment, late to work. You were just having a bad moment. Don't make your whole day be that, because you manifested that in the atmosphere. So just like Miss Carter said, you know. Oh, she says she falls asleep talking to God. Honey, listen, he listens. He listens. He listens. So you might avoid doing things you usually enjoy or being with people you love. The root causes. Listen to these the disorders that are the root causes of feeling stuck or being stuck. Depression disorders, anxiety disorders, eating disorders, substance misuse, personality disorders, developmental disorders, grief, and complex grief. These all manifest. They are the root causes of being stuck or feeling stuck. Now, feeling stuck it severely impacts your mental health because you're fostering chronic stress. And I would say chronic worrying or anxiety and depression. So you're stressed out, you're anxious, you're worrying, your thoughts are everywhere, and then you have this depression that'll sit on you. So you have all three of these combinations together. And it's all due to a perceived lack of control. Ms. Carter, does this sound like a dance to you? Because it sounded like a dance to me when I read it. So when somebody used to say back in the day, oh, you stuck? He got you stuck. She got you stuck. Lack of control. Lack of control. It often leads to low self-esteem and reduced motivation and cognitive fatigue. Now, remember when I was talking about when I had the bitter heart series, a word that I learned from looking things up on the bitter heart series was festering. Festering. When you have a wound and you're not taking care of it, or you stressed out, you worry, sometimes you get depressed and you're not taking care of yourself, you are letting that thing fester. And this is the same thing for cognitive fatigue. It manifests as rumination. We talked about rumination before, right? Rumination is where competitive negative loops drain your energy, further trapping individuals in a cycle of inaction, guilt, and again, here's that word, hopelessness. So imagine you have a clog in your pipes. You go get some Drano, you go get the snake, where the rooter comes out, and that thing is stuck. Ms. Carter said a person that's older than me feels as though she can come at me. Girl, listen. Ms. Carter said, but she'll eat some humble pie instead of going toe to toe. I'm with you, but I'm going to tell you something. Sometimes your boundary is letting them know Don't try me. If you've seen CC whining on what's the show that that Whoopi Goldberg is on? Whoopi told her, I just read the little thing. Whoopi told her, this is not the platform you come on with, with the Christian faith stuff. What are you talking about, Whoopi? That's my whole character. And so before CC Wanna left the show, she gave her the business in a very polite and loving way. They said her voice her tone wasn't high. She wasn't with the neck stuff. She gave Whoopi the business and walked off. And she said, now you can turn my mic off. Whoopi can be something. And then you have to also understand, if you're transitioning, if you're changing, if you're going into a different level, and people see that and they know who you used to be, trust me, because people try me all the time. And I'm sorry, I ain't gonna lie to you, I failed every time. Somebody got choked, punched. I'll grab you real quick. Ask my kids. And the guy said, Kimble, anger cannot live in your body, because when I'm angry, I'm shaking, I can't think. I go from 0 to 100, and I'm there. I'm going to stay there for a long, long time. And that's not healthy. Yeah, Miss Lopez, exactly. She said Whoopi is lost anyway. Mm-hmm. She being paid to do with her job. Are you talking about Whoopi Goldberg, Dell? She is getting paid to do her job, but the people that you ask on your show, they have what they're about, let's just say. So why would you bring her on your show or ask her to come on your show and she can't talk about her faith? So let's go back to the impact on your mental health of feeling stuck. Key mental health impacts, and we already talked about anxiety, right? So let's get into the anxiety and the fear. It's persistently feeling of being trapped. And it can trigger panic, anxiety, phobias, driven by fear of making the wrong decision or inability to escape your current circumstances. And people can attach this onto you. And so this is why I'm saying sometimes when you get a diagnosis from your doctor, like anxiety disorder, we all know anxiety disorder, you're worried. And, people that you disclose your medical information to, because mental health is medical, you disclose your information to those people, they're going to be the ones that tag you with this label every time you're going through something. And it doesn't make you feel good. So then you'll feel like I'm actually stuck. I'm stuck. This thought in my mind, I can't get it out of my mind. I'm having problems. Now I can't even make a good decision for myself. If I make this decision, it's the wrong decision. If I make that decision, it's the wrong decision. It sounds like me was you trying to please people over here. And then if they don't like it, you're trying to please people over there. And again, what about you? I know we all have families, but at the end of the day, when you lay down in that bed, how are you feeling about your day? What did you accomplish? What did you do to enjoy your 24 hours that God opened your eyes for? You had a panic attack. So what did you do? What was your symptoms, Ms. Carla, with the panic attack? Were you hot, sweaty, heart beating? Feel like you couldn't breathe? Skin clammy? Did you feel like you was going to faint? Like the room was going to spin? Or was it just a sudden gloom, like something is about to happen and I don't know what it is? Let me know about that. So one of the next key impacts of feeling stuck is depression and hopelessness. Remember, we talked about hopelessness, and this is a long-term feeling that things will never improve. And this is leading to emotional numbness. Ms. Carter talked about that, or a state of lagging. Lagging is when your computer or your phone, that little circle keep going around because it's trying to get the connection. Or when you're going through the revolving doors and when you go out of it, it just keep going because you don't push it so hard. That's how you feel your life is doing. And this is the thing. Remember I talked about cognitive fatigue? Cognitive and emotional fatigue is the mental energy spent worrying. It causes burnout. It makes it hard for you to concentrate and make decisions or feel motivated. I had cognitive fatigue, I can say about the last 4 months into last year. I couldn't read no books. I only read 3 books last year. I usually read 10 a year. Me and my grandson read 10 books, and I'll trade my books off. If he wants a book, and I'll read his book. He picked 10, I picked 10. Out of those 10 books that I picked, I only read 3 of them. High and wanting to hurt myself. So what did you do to not do that? Because if you were hot, I'm guaranteed you took all your clothes off. You just, and to hurt yourself, you probably cried just to get that big burst of that feeling out. Physical symptoms of feeling stuck. Remember, there's 3 systems to our body: the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. So the physical symptoms when you feel stuck is stress. The stress of being stuck, often that manifests into a physical tension in your body, muscle tension, pains in your back, pains in your stomach, maybe a migraine. Oh, I like that. She said she had to write her feelings down. Yes. Yes. Another thing of a physical symptom of being stuck is insomnia. You can't get your proper rest. If your mind is racing, if you're ruminating, if you're worried, if you're thinking that things will never get better, I'm stuck, I'm trapped, you're not going to be able to sleep. And if you can't sleep, there comes exhaustion coming along, dragging you. I am still struggling with my weight, as you guys can tell. It came right back to me. And I'm going to say it's all my husband's fault. That's what I'm going to say. That's what I'm going to say. It's all. I know you hear me. It's all his fault. But I'm going to take my responsibility as well. He brings snacks home. You know what I like to eat. And I go here and I'm like, oh, you bring it home. I worked out today. I can enjoy the snack. And I'm snacking. This man can eat 4 candy bars, 2 bags of chips, a Pepsi, some donuts, and dinner. And he don't gain no weight. If I look at a cookie, 5 pounds is coming one day. So now, in order for me not to feel stuck with my weight, because I go up and down with this weight, they have me labeled as a pre-diabetic. Diabetes running my family. I do not want to give myself insulin. I do not want to take metformin. I don't want any of that. So I told myself this year, I work out every day, 5 days a week, sometimes 6 if I get a Saturday in when I'm stressing out. I'm going to try to work out at night as well. Not every night, but at night as well. I did last night, which was Tuesday. So once I got off of my assignment, I walked on my treadmill for an hour. I'm going to try to get Saturday in there. So instead of me saying, Kimble, you lost weight and you gained weight, you lost weight, I was at a good weight. Instead of me being down on myself, I had to go back and say, I lost control, even though I keep telling him not to buy me stuff. And so now I've told him, once you buy me something, you bring it home knowing I'm not going to eat it, it's going to sit there and you're wasting your money. I never wanted to say that before. You're wasting your money. But he's seen when he wrong. I think hot cheese popcorn home. I love hot cheese popcorn from Hers. I love spicy. And it's sitting on their table. And it took everything in me not to eat it for a whole week that he brought it home. Stop bringing me stuff. And I'm an emotional eater. I will eat. And then I'll try to go run on the treadmill for 5 miles to walk off 3 or 4 snacks. It's not working. Now, why do these things happen? The cognitive and emotional fatigue, the physical symptoms, the anxiety, the fear, the depression, and hopelessness. Why do they happen? There is a freeze response. When we feel overwhelmed, when the nervous system is all these sparks in your brain that tell you how to move your arms, your hands, your heart rate, your breathing, your blanking. When you feel like you can't sit still, that's all a part of the nervous system, may go into a freeze mode, causing paralysis where a person cannot act despite wanting to. We hear a fight, flight, freeze, and then there's something called fawn. Talked about that. Well, this is what happens when you feel stuck. You just literally can't do anything despite wanting to. You have it in your mind. I've been trying this over and over and over again, but this is not working. But you also have people in your ear. And if you have the thoughts, the illuminating thoughts in your mind, and you have people in your ear, you shut down. You just freeze. You stop. Because nothing's helping you. And the people that's in your ear, they may be supportive, like trying to say, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to drop that person, you need to stop calling that person, you need to stop doing this. That's not helping you. They're not giving you a solution. They're not helping you. And that's exactly what they'll say. Well, I'm just trying to help. Those people that used to just try to help me, they got blocked. I'm serious. They got blocked. I love them to death. They got blocked, and I told them we are no longer friends. I can't. 2026 is about taking care of yourself. It's about you minding your business, finding your purpose, and moving and acting on it. Yes, we want to be healthy. Yes, we want to make money. We want to make sure our bills and stuff is being paid. But without you being physically, mentally, and emotionally okay, straight, none of that stuff matters. I don't care if you're the manager at your job. You've been there for 20, 30 years. Once you pass away, somebody else is going to pop up in here. They may send flowers to your service. They may even show up. Some employees might show up. But after that, your job description goes right back on Indeed. So taking care of you first. Now, what else happens to us is the rumination. This is continuously focused on the problem rather than solutions. It leads to cognitive, emotional, and physical exhaustion. You ever have that person? I know who that person is. You ever have a person that you call in the beginning of the week and they tell you about how your week went? It went really bad. And they tell you exactly everything that happened. You're talking on the phone and they're saying that this is going to change. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. And by the time Friday, you probably called them midweek. By the time Friday, they had that same story. And the same way they sounded on Monday, by the time you do the story with the anger and the frustration, they still feel that same way. That person is stuck in that situation, stuck in that circumstance, and stuck in that problem. They cannot hear. And this is where we're going right here with the problem solving. They're unable to continue a task or find a solution, feeling stumped or baffled by a difficult question or a problem. That can be your life. Something's happening in your life. That can be something happening in your career. The feeling of being stagnant in your life or in your career. You can't figure out how to make progress or achieve your goals. Miss Lopez said she had to block some people also. She said a year ago, God told her, God and me and my cat, and those are the yes, listen. It was hard for me to do. And I'm a person that try to figure out how can we resolve this, because I don't have any enemies. At least I don't think I do. I'm saying I don't. So if you're an enemy, let me know. I don't have any enemies. So when the word haters was going around, I was like, why people want haters? I don't want to hate on anybody. I don't want anybody to hate on me. And so people like, I got a lot of haters. I'm like, I don't have any of those. I try to make things work. What can I do to get this right? How can I change things? Matter of fact, I can give you a prime story. My niece, she stopped talking to me. She stopped texting me good morning. She took me, and she ain't even on IG like that. She took me off of her Instagram as a friend. I'm like, wow. So I'm assuming Christmas is going to come around. Everybody's happy for Christmas. And I send her gifts to my sister's house because we always exchange gifts, but we all stay at our family homes. I'm with my family, they with their family, my others with their family. I send her Christmas stuff, and she usually, call me and say thank you. And this year I didn't even get a gift. I didn't get a gift. I'm like, what did I do that had this girl mad at me like this? And of course, my youngest told me, and I was like, well, listen, she won't have to cool off because the way you perceive something, or again, the subjective and objective, we're going to get to that. Remember the subjective and objective. We're going to get to those things. So with life issues and career issues, some of us feel as though we have an obligation. That's a heavy word. Having to deal with an unpleasant person or situation because you have no choice. That is exactly not true. Unless it's your husband or your wife. To death do you part. You don't have an obligation to be around somebody that's toxic, to be around somebody that causes you stress, to be around somebody that talks down to you, to be around somebody that's going to point out your indiscretions and your flaws as if they don't have any. We all have fallen and come short. I understand that. I know that. So think in your mind, you have to deal with this unpleasant person, or you have to be in this situation because you have no choice. God gives us choice. He gave us free will. It's often expressed as stuck with something or someone. You hear things like that when a man is in a relationship with a woman and he finds out she's pregnant. Oh God, I'm gonna be stuck with her for the rest of my life. And you'll hear the same thing. This is my baby daddy. He ain't shook honey iced tea. I gotta be stuck with him until my baby get 18. That's not true. Y'all can't co-parent. Y'all can't co-parent. Y'all was adults when y'all was having fun. Co-parent, because this child doesn't have anything to do with you guys being mean and nasty to each other, and it's not going to help the kid. I digress. Now, subjective. Remember, we had that word subjective. Where did it come from? Because I liked it. I was like, ooh, I like words. I'm not sipping on my tea because my husband made it too hot. You'll see my notes. Subjective is based on or influenced by personal feelings, taste, or opinions. It can be experiences rather than external facts. External facts. Emotions and feelings is something internal. Rather than external facts or reality, making it unique to the individual's mind and their perspective. It's about a person's personal interpretation, emotions, and biases, as opposed to being objective. Objective is verifying truths. So let's stick to my niece's scenario. Trying to figure out Christmas, what's going to happen, trying to figure out what's going to happen in the new year. How am I going to approach this girl? Because I love my niece. I'm a family-oriented person. How am I going to approach her without her feeling like I hurt her or harmed her? I know I hurt her because this never happened to us before. And so I was like, I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait it out. This thing I can't fix because I don't even know what happened that she disconnected from me. So I'm going to wait it out. And I just received, and then now she cut me off. Was it after Thanksgiving? After Thanksgiving. I just received a text message from her, I believe, on Sunday. She explained what was the disconnect. And so I was able to say, I understand what happened. And then I was able to take accountability, like, listen, just as you said, moving forward, this will never happen again. But I did have to give her verified truths because she was still going off for her emotions and the subjective information and her experience. Well, Nick, I'm going to have to run this down to you this way. And so when you're giving verified truths to somebody, you're not giving them emotions. When you're with somebody and there's a conflict and you guys can't seem to compromise, and sometimes people hold on to these things for years. Listen, we got beef with family now. We don't even know why we got beef with the family. But you know what? Generational beef. So you have to keep them and leave them over there. Because again, if you feel stuck in that situation, it ain't going nowhere. You're worrying about something that you have no control over. And they may not even change because, again, it's generational. Okay. I just want to make sure I'm getting everything in. We did that one. Here it is. Unresolved past lingering feelings. This is the generational stuff. From past traumas. Trauma have an S on it. Past traumas. So things that's happened in your life, you were able to move past it or able to just keep moving on, living in your life. Meaning you didn't get healed from that thing, you didn't process that thing, you pushed that thing deep down, so you didn't feel it or think about it, or you didn't want anybody to talk about it. And then you got hit with another issue with trauma or issue with hurt. So those unresolved past lingering feelings from past traumas or significant life changes can create a sense of being perpetually stuck in the past. I had a friend who got a divorce and they got married again, and all they talked about was their ex-wife. How they treated them, how they didn't do them right, how the kids in them fought. All they talked about was their ex-wife. Man, we knew they were married because we went to the wedding. But all they talked about all the time was their ex-wife. Now imagine the new bride. Miss Carter said, reflecting to the past. Mm-hmm. Imagine the new bride. Imagine the new wife. Every time a conversation came up, she's there, but you're talking about the ex-wife. So how? I'm going to leave it how alone. I love the how. So with the subjective thing, personal viewpoints come from within the individual rather than the thing being observed. Like Ms. Carter saying, reflecting on the past. Again, we all have made mistakes. I was just telling my sister the other day, if I had to think about something that I regret, because there's nothing in my life that I really regret, but if I was to actually sit down and ponder on it a little bit, it would probably be my decision not to go to school once I became pregnant. I became pregnant when I was 18, my last year in school, high school. I stopped going, 12th grade. We was in probably the second report period. I stopped going and I said, I'm going to, work, get enough money so I can stay home and take care of my daughter. And I moved with her father. I had a scholarship to college in Southampton, PA. After I finished college, I was going to go to the Air Force. If I didn't do the Air Force, I was going to be a state trooper. All that shut down when I had my first baby, my baby girl. Ms. Cole said, all day what I do was be still, stop the train of thought, and push through. You can't do that. If you're stopping the train of thought, you're stopping how you really feel. You're suppressing the feelings, and all you're thinking about is what's going wrong. All you're going to think about is what's going wrong, what has been going wrong. And the same thing that's been going wrong here has went wrong in the past. And it probably may so be that way. But the situation in the past was probably with somebody different and on a different level. Listen, y'all, I've been married. This is my third marriage. First time I got married, I was young. I had the most beautiful wedding of all. We had so many bridesmaids, and the whole party was beautiful. Beautiful. And after 1 year, he left the home, and we were separated from 2001 to 2012. Then I got married again. So I can't compare my first marriage to my second marriage to the marriage that I have now. Don't work like that. They were all men, yes. So they were all men. They were men. But every situation was different. And I know every situation was different because when I got married the first time, I was only 21 years old. I was very young. I knew how to keep house and take care of my family, but I did not know how to be a wife. Well, I'm glad you're not running because that's one of Miss Carla's coping skills. She said she couldn't cry, so that means you're tired of crying, and she didn't want to go back into one of her ex behaviors, which is running. So that means you're fed up, but in your mind, and in your heart, the decision that you have to make, they don't meet. And you're trying to make them meet, and they don't meet. And sometimes when you have that situation going on, you have to really sit down and say, is this an emotional thing that I'm going through? I'm hurt, I'm frustrated, I feel overwhelmed, I don't feel appreciated. Or is this something that I can't control? It could be a person, place, thing, job, work. I can't control. You can't control their behaviors. You can't control their mouth. You can't control their issues. But you can control how they treat you, and you can put those boundaries up. And you have to stick to the boundaries, guys. Once you say something, and it can be something as simple as telling your kid, "Oh, you're on punishment. Give me your electronic, give me your phone, give me your Xbox, give me all this stuff," and your kid is sitting downstairs watching TV with you. What do you mean? The kids on? I remember when we used to be on punishment, we either had to stand in the corner. We couldn't watch anything. Matter of fact, you would try to eat slow at the dinner table. There ain't nobody talking to you, really, because you in trouble. You would try to eat slow at the dinner table so you can enjoy everybody else's presence. At least that's how it was in the home that I grew up with. When you was on punishment, you couldn't sit around with a family and talk like everything was normal. No, you're in trouble. We're removing you so you understand what you did. And how you get off of punishment was you took accountability for what you did. I'm sorry I did this. And my grandma will say, now what you going to do next time? You hear what she said? What are you going to do next time? Because we still make mistakes. We still stumble. We still fall. No matter how old we get, we make good decisions and we make bad decisions. But this being stuck is a decision for you to say, I have control over this issue. And what I don't have control over, I'm going to let it go. Opinion-based. So subjective things like being opinion-based is a personal judgment or belief, not necessarily a universal provable fact. That's your opinions. And my grandma used to say, your opinion don't matter in this house, so I pay the bills. Dad, grandma, none of our opinions matter. No. She ruled that house with an iron fist, honey. Our opinions did not matter because we wasn't paying no bills. And I remember she used to say, I'm like, oh, my back hurt. You don't got no back. You got a gristle. Grandma, how my body is holding up together? True Southern woman. She said boundaries came down and I'm building them back up. And see, that's the thing. That's the thing. We're so used to giving in. We're so used to not wanting to be controversial. We're so used to pleasing others that sometimes it hurts us. And when you're building that boundary with the person, saying, listen, you're not going to talk to me that way. When your voice is raised, with the conversation, you're going to shut the conversation down. And the person, still their tone is loud. They can't hear you saying, listen, when you cool off, we can come back together. Let's table whatever we're talking about, because apparently it's making you upset. And sometimes when you say it's making you upset, the person will get even angrier. I'm not upset. I'm only upset because of what you said. Listen, I see right now that we're not getting anywhere. This is not helping any of us. Let's table this and talk about it later if that's where you want to go. That person's behavior you're so used to, and it doesn't look like they're going to change. You should say, listen, and now y'all sitting arguing back and forth, and nothing's getting solved. That's the same thing when I used to do outpatient services, and the parents will bring their kids in because the teacher either said that they need to be evaluated for ADHD or they have emotional disturbances. And while I'm doing the assessment with the mom or the father or whoever the guardian is, the kid is just sitting there in the chair, manipulating a toy, eating some chips that they got off my desk. They're sitting. They're listening. If I ask them a question, they're able to answer me. They understand. So when they're in my office, they don't know me from a can of paint. They can sit still. They can answer your questions. They have patience. But in your classroom, you saying that they walk around, they don't complete tasks. And so then you tell the mom, you have to give them a structured routine. And I do this every summer before the kids go back to school. A month or 3 weeks before they go back to school, make them kids go to bed and have a bedtime. Summertime, they don't have a bedtime. Nobody has a bedtime in the summertime. Not even the 6-year-olds, which I can't fathom. But get your kids on a schedule, on a routine, because when they get back in school, these teachers expect your children to go right back to sitting in the class for almost 7 hours to learn. That's why kids sometimes don't like school. They just want to learn. They want to, have fun, play outside, watch TV, eat all your food up. But they're capable of learning. They have tantrums. And before it gets better, it's going to get worse because they're not used to you setting those boundaries for them. What you mean, Mom? I got to go upstairs at 7 o'clock and take a shower and get dressed, and I can only have an hour of TV or an hour on my phone. Because you can't get up in the morning to go to school. You never get up early. Your clothes is not ironed. You're in the bathroom for a long time, and you're always late to school. You're giving them the facts. And now when you set that boundary, of course, it's going to be a couple of nights that they're going to sneak their phone, and they're not going to be off the phone. They're not going to turn the TV off. They're not going to go upstairs, directly at 7 o'clock to take their bath and get dressed. some of that's going to falter through. But you have to stick to it and say, listen, you have to get up in the morning. You're not getting up in the morning early. You're falling asleep in class. This is what we have to do to make sure you're ready on time. And believe it or not, kids like routine and structure. Remember the games we used to play back in the day? 1, 2, 3, red light. Mother May I? Those were things that you had to listen and pay attention to. So if we like the structure and routine, your children do the same thing. They're no different from us. This is the way we deal with them. Now, yeah, that's my good stuff. So emotional and experimental, it's shaped by your feelings and moods and individuals' backgrounds. And so, like Miss Carter was saying back, prior to her, trying to, shut down and trying to stay to herself and figure things out, she would just run, leave everything, and run, or just be numb to it. Me, I don't say anything. I can ignore a person until the wells come home, until the what I can ignore a person. They can be sitting right there, and my face is fixed like it's just me and Jesus in the room. I can ignore you. Now I'm going to say, if you ask me something, I'm going to reply back to you, and I'm going to ignore you. I will shut down. I'm not saying anything, and I will do it. And so when I'm ignoring a person, I find out that now they're mad at me. Now they're mad at me. You know why? Because they're matching my energy. Oh, she ain't saying nothing. I ain't going to say nothing. But nothing gets done. There's no solution. The problem is still there. You feeling stuck, like, why am I even doing this? And that's how sometimes it feels. If you're in therapy, you're going to therapy, you have this issue, you have this problem, you're bringing up your past, you're bringing up this, you're bringing up some present things that's going on in your life, and you want to be fixed immediately. And that is not what therapy is. Ms. Lopez said she ignored and cut off. I like that. Therapy is not a quick fix. Therapy is you being honest with yourself, saying, I was hurt. This is what happened. This is how I tried to resolve that issue. For me being hurt in my past from 12 to 15, I was a fight. I would fight in and everything. In and everything I would fight. Didn't matter. And every fight I won. Every fight up until high school, I never got in trouble for. Until high school. And if I would have went to jail, because I've been there 3-4 times, roundhouse, not or 24th and 24th district, not the real jail where they put the little suit on you when you got pick on the back of it. I ain't been there. I learned my lessons. But I've been where they put your little fingerprint on the paper and take your pictures and say, I can't do that anymore. I still got the skill to, but I can't do that anymore. That's not the path that God is leading me to. I'm not a physical fighter. I'm a soldier in his kingdom. Common causes of being stuck or feeling stuck is fear of change. Hello. They moved it, Miss Lopez. They moved the roundhouses at Broad and Collar Hill now. It's the old Inquirer building. And I think they're turning a roundhouse into condominiums. We'll see how that work out. But some common causes of feeling stuck is the fear of change. The unknown causes people to stay in uncomfortable, familiar situations. Now, let's just say you have in your mind, there's a family member or a friend from back in the past that you had a good relationship with. You couldn't figure out, why y'all stopped talking, all those things. And you reach back out to this person. And y'all have a good conversation. And you say, well, well, what happened? What happened that we stopped talking? And the information that they give you, it starts coming back to your mind. It's not the information that the subjective stuff. You stop talking to them. You don't call them no more. You would rather be stuck in that uncomfortable, familiar situation. And you know that this person was very supportive. You know that this person was very loyal. But this one thing that your personal feelings, your experiences, your interpretations is keeping you from that person. Lack of clarity is another one. Unsure of the goals or the direction to take in your life. This is a career. This is if you're moving somewhere out of state. This is if there's a separation. If you're married, if there's a separation, or if there's a matter of divorce. Unclear or unsure of your goals or direction you want to take in life. You'll just let it be. You'll let it be. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like we have to figure out when we're interacting with people, how do you really feel? And especially today, because there's no more loyalty. You really can't trust people. And that makes you feel vulnerable in your mind. You'll say, I can't trust nobody. I don't have no friends. And then you feel alone. The other one is burnout. Feeling stuck, it's a burnout. And it's a feeling of being trapped in a routine or having exhausted one's mental energy. You have thought about this thing. You thought about this thing. Try to come up with different. But you're in that revolving door. I tried this, that ain't work. I tried this, that ain't work. I went here, that ain't work. I did that ain't work. And now you're mentally exhausted. And then there's the thing right here is internal conflict, being caught between what you want and what you feel. Or should I do, could I do, would I do type of thoughts. That internal conflict. If I do what's right for me, they're not going to like it. And then you'll go back to making sure they're satisfied. Hey, Miss Pittman, making sure they're satisfied. But what about you? I hear a lot from young men that made these decisions to, be in their kids' life, and they move with their significant other, and they say she nags all the time. When I come home from work, I'm tired, and she want me to get the kid and do this and do that, and I'm just listening to them. When you decided, sir, to be a family, the mom, don't take the mom hat off. She's a mom all day long. And I just told a young man this. She's a mom all day long. So even though she's a mom, she's, your baby mom, your wife, your fiance. She's also a sister. She also has a career. She can be a nurse, a counselor, a doctor. So she still has a career. She also has some things in her life that she enjoys, maybe volunteering at the church, feeding the homeless. So she has 10, I just named 10 things, 9 things on top of her than being a mom. And out of those 9 things, she's moving in motion. And so if someone was to call her and say, your child is sick, come to school, she got to drop everything else and go get the child. And so when she come home, and now she wants to take care of herself because she's physically exhausted and she still got to take care of the baby. Maybe they went to the doctor and the doctor told her, give the baby this medicine, make sure they're getting fluids and all this stuff. She still got to take care of the baby. So the mom had never come off. But all she's asking you to do is take the baby or take the 5-year-old or the 2-year-old, put them in bed, do this, do that. So now you're caught with the internal things, and your mind is, she think I'm not a good father. That's not what she said. And women, we do need to communicate a little bit better. We don't like to feel vulnerable to our men. We want to make sure we do everything. We're juggling everything. We got it. And sometimes we do. But sometimes I want to pass you that ball. I want to pass you the ball and you dunk it. You make the 3-point shot because we're a team. We're a team. Overwhelmed. Situations that feel too large to handle, leading to a sense of helplessness. Put too much on your plate. You're a team. Me and my husband, we don't have any children. They're all grown. When he came to stay with me, I had one dog, my baby. I had Carter, a Shih Tzu. My husband started walking the dog. I didn't have to walk the dog. Walk him in the morning, walk him in the night. I didn't have to walk him. We got another dog. Somebody gave him a French bulldog. And now we got to walk 2 dogs. And so when I used to give Carter a bath, then I got to give Zeus a bath. When I take Carter to the vet, I got to take Zeus to the vet. More food, more time. My baby went home to be in dog heaven. Carter's no longer here. But my husband would have to get up at 3:30 in the morning in order for him to get to work on time. And between that, he's walking the dog, he's feeding the dog. I like to walk because that's a little exercise for me. And so I was telling him, I'll help you, maybe on the weekends, don't get up early because you get up at 3:30 every day. And trust me, he used to argue with me. That's my responsibility. Okay, bro. We're a team. I'm thinking about your well-being. But you're interpreted in saying that, you're a man, you're supposed to take all that on. I'm telling you, you don't have to. We are your helpmeets. These are some common expressions in your mind when you feel stuck. I'm going through the motions. I used to tell my sister that all the time, girl, I'm just going through the motions. I'm stuck for words. I'm stuck on this problem. I feel trapped in my career. I feel trapped in this marriage. I feel trapped in my life, and I'm in a rut. Those are some common. Has anybody had any of those common expressions? Those are some common expressions that we use. Now I'm gonna stop it here. I'm gonna cut it off here. I got a few more up in here to do, so I'll do this next week, and then I can get some feedback and questions going, a Q&A if y'all want. It is important to note that feeling stuck does not mean one is actually unable to change, but rather that the perception of option has been limited by these emotional and psychological factors. So put that in your mind. It is important to note that feeling stuck does not mean one is actually unable to change, because change is constant. We don't even feel that the earth is on a rotation and it's going around. We don't feel it. It's constant. Either you want to change for the better, or you want to change for the worse. The person that you're giving the boundaries to is either going to take them and get that unlearned behavior, because the learned behavior that they have learned. And when people tell me, oh, that's just how they are, I despise that. No, that's how y'all been letting them be. They're not going to do that with me. They're not going to do that with me. That's how you allow them to behave. And they don't know no better because you allow them to behave like that. But change can happen. Change is there. But rather that the perception of options have been limited by your emotional and your psychological factors. We'll talk about those things next week. If you would, think about any situation that you're in, something that may be bothering you, something that feels heavy on your heart. Maybe again, a relationship that you want to even get resolved. When you resolve a relationship, that does not mean you have to be with, stay attached to that person. And it's the same thing as when you're forgiving somebody. If something happened and you forgive that person, that does not mean you have to have a relationship with that person to be back in that person's life. You're just resolving the thing for yourself, so so you can get on with it. Because if you feel stuck because something happened and there's miscommunication, they think this and you think that, you got to bring that stuff together to get that out. So then you both can be on the same page. Like, okay, this is what happened. We cleared the table. Everything's fine. You going with your life, I'm going with my life. Because again, you don't want the generational drama to happen. Your mom was mad at your grandma, and your kids is mad at your mom, at their grandma, and their kids is mad. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. And you do have families that's like that. And that's why you make your own, your special family and things like that. But just think about that issue, that situation, even if it's something that's lingering from your past that you're having difficulty dealing with, but you're always talking about it. It's constantly coming up, or somebody is constantly bringing up something from your past. You're not even that person anymore. You done changed. Think about how you can change it. And I love that good morning thing that you sent to me, Miss Carla. God grant me the wisdom to change things that I can change, the things that I can't change, that are out of my control. That serenity prayer. Think about the serenity prayer. Things that you're able to control that will be healthy for you to change and make boundaries with. The things that you're not able to control, and there can be no boundaries, you have to let those things go. And I'm not saying that it's easy. Nothing in life is easy. God didn't say we was going to have an easy life. We were born in sin. It's not easy, but there is a way. There is a way. I will see you guys next Wednesday. It's going to be the last. Well, this is the last Wednesday in January. This month just went past. I am trying to get a friend on here. They do individual therapy and yes, a serenity prayer. That's what it was. And they also do crisis counseling. That may be on the second Wednesday in February. I have to get with them and let them know what I'm looking for, and send them some questions and emails and all that stuff. So that's going to be fun, because then we can talk about some mental health processing techniques and resources and things like that. So I look forward to doing it with you guys. And if you was on here last year when we talked about the emergency preparedness class, or we did a kind of like a demo for it. We had all the things. Miss Joya is going to be doing that again. So when she does the emergency preparedness class again, I'm going to let you guys know about it. Yes, Miss Carla said the last part is God's will, not yours. Let His will be done. Yes, let His will be done. Yes, God. Yes, absolutely. It's always His plan. Let His will be done. Yes, yes. So when she tells me or tell us about that, what day she's going to do it on, I'm going to have her come back on here, because we do need to be prepared. Look at all the things that happened with over in what a week. They told us about this big snowstorm, the snow and ice, and people was in the markets, baby. I went to Aldi. There was nothing on the shelves. I had to put mango in my fruit salad. I like cantaloupe in my fruit salad. I had to buy some mango because there was, who think of cantaloupe in an emergency situation? But there was nothing in Aldi, so we have to always be prepared. Be prepared and stay ready. So I'm gonna talk to Julia and see when she's gonna have that. And mental health first aid is a free class. You get a 3-year certificate for. Let me tell you guys, Philadelphia is the only place where you can get a mental health first aid class, get a certificate for 3 years, and it's free. All you have to do is just give them 8 hours out of your day. I'm going to put the link for the mental health first aid class. You can do it by yourself. And then, you can do the first couple of things by yourself. Some of the virtual things by yourself, and then they'll have a person they're going to pair you up into a group. So then the other thing is a virtual thing or a Zoom thing where the instructor's going to talk to you and make sure the things that you've seen on video and the things that you read, you understand, and then you'll get that certificate. I do it every 3 years. I've been trying to get a couple of people together to do it as a group, but a lot of people's schedules are very different. So I'm going to leave that link in the chat. And you can schedule a day. Usually they do them on weekends, or sometimes they do them throughout the week at different times. You can schedule yourself for that mental health first aid class, and it's free. And it's just something so you can have, so you can understand if somebody's in a crisis and you need to help them. Or they give you resources as well. But it's a good class to have. So guys, I am saying good night. This has been a lovely, lovely topic. I'm so excited about trying to get TikTok on here. I just got to figure out that tablet. My name is Kimble Evans. I'm your trap therapist, and you have been on the Trap Lounge. Have a good night, people, and be safe. Be safe. And strain. End it.